Hey everyone, and welcome to Trending Tidbits. We are going to be taking a look at some really fascinating research today, all about how meditation can affect our brains.
Ooh, I love this topic.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Um, we've got a whole stack of academic research articles here that use things like EEGs to measure brainwave activity during meditation,
Okay.
focusing on things like alpha and theta waves.
Right, those electrical signals that can kind of give us a glimpse into what's going on in our brains.
Exactly, like a window right into the brain's activity.
I love that.
And there's this one study in particular from the International Journal of Transpersonal Studies that really stood out to me. They compared brainwave activity in people who were meditating alone versus meditating with a partner.
Okay, interesting.
And what they found was really, really cool. So get this, the people who were meditating together showed significantly higher theta and alpha activity in a specific part of the brain, the left frontal cortex.
Hmm, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
So what does that actually mean for those of us who don't speak fluent brainwave?
Well, think of alpha waves as that relaxed yet alert state you experience when you're maybe daydreaming or right before you fall asleep.
Okay, yeah.
And then theta waves are associated with deeper relaxation, creativity, and even those aha moments of insight.
So are you saying that seeing these brainwave patterns amped up during paired meditation means we're seeing a potentially deeper level of relaxation and focus?
That's one interpretation for sure, but it really makes you wonder, why is it just the presence of another person, kind of like the social boost, or is there something more unique happening when people meditate together?
That is a great question. And thankfully, the researchers in the study explore a few really interesting possibilities.
No, you got on me.
Well, they talk about this concept called social facilitation, the idea that just having another person around can actually enhance your performance.
Like when you're at the gym and you suddenly pick up the pace on the treadmill when someone walks by.
Exactly. That could definitely be part of it. But they also propose that it might be connected to this thing called theory of mind.
Theory of mind.
Yeah, it's basically our ability to understand and anticipate the mental states of other people.
So you're saying that meditating together in sync might actually engage our social brains, which in turn would boost activity in areas of the brain related to understanding what other people are thinking and feeling.
That's a very plausible theory. And the researchers actually point to increased activity in brain regions that are associated with social cognition as evidence.
Wow. Okay. So this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to understanding all the complexities of paired meditation. It opens up a whole new avenue of research.
Absolutely.
I am officially hooked. What else
Yeah.
did these researchers find?
Okay, well, this is where things get even more interesting. The study also delves into the concept of something called a transpersonal connection between meditating minds.
Whoa, hold on. Are we talking about some kind of mind meld here?
Not quite. What they're suggesting is that there might be something beyond just the social interaction at play. They're talking about potential mechanisms like subtle energy fields that might be facilitating a connection between the minds of the people meditating together.
Okay, now that is definitely a topic for another Trending Tidbits episode.
Yeah.
But for now, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about how meditation might be affecting the physical structure of our brains. Some researchers actually believe that meditation can reshape our gray matter.
Right. This is where that remarkable concept of neuroplasticity comes in the brain's ability to change and adapt throughout life.
We're talking about more than just those temporary shifts in brainwave activity we were talking about earlier. This is potentially long-lasting changes in the structure of the brain.
Exactly. And there's a study from Frontiers in Human Neuroscience that really looked into this in detail. They actually examined the brains of people with mild cognitive impairment or mild Alzheimer's disease before and after 6 months of consistent meditation practice.
That's a population where the potential benefits of meditation could be incredibly significant. So what did they find?
Well, after 6 months of meditation, these individuals actually showed increases in cortical thickness and gray matter volume in specific areas of their brains.
Now, I know we have a lot of listeners who are probably thinking, wait, what exactly does cortical thickness and gray matter volume mean?
It's a great question. So picture your brain like a walnut. The wrinkly outer layer is what we call the cortex, and its thickness can actually change.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then gray matter is that brain tissue that's packed with neurons, those brain cells that transmit information.
Gotcha.
So seeing increases in these areas means that there's potential growth and enhanced connectivity in those parts of the brain.
So it's almost like meditation is giving the brain a workout,
Yeah.
strengthening those areas that are responsible for important functions.
It's a great way to put it. And what's even more fascinating is that these increases were observed in areas of the brain that are associated with attention, executive function, and memory.
The areas that are typically weakened by conditions like Alzheimer's.
Yes, exactly. It really points to the possibility that meditation could play a role in actually slowing down cognitive decline and maybe even improving cognitive function in these individuals.
This is mind-blowing.
It is.
But I do think it's important to acknowledge that not all research paints the same picture, right? There can be conflicting findings, and it's important to look at the whole picture.
You're absolutely right. Scientific discovery is rarely straightforward. There's a lot of twists and turns, and actually sometimes those conflicting results can lead to even more insightful discoveries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great point. And that's where our next study comes in. This one, published in Science Advances, kind of throws a bit of a curveball into the mix. They found no evidence of structural brain changes after an 8-week mindfulness-based stress reduction program.
Interesting. So we have one study suggesting some potentially positive structural changes and another showing no changes.
Right.
What do we make of that?
Well, I think it just highlights the complexity of the brain and how important it is to consider all these different factors, like the specific meditation techniques that are used the length of the study and the characteristics of the people participating in these studies.
It's a great point. It's important to remember that science is an ongoing process, and conflicting results don't necessarily invalidate previous findings. They often highlight the need for more research to fully understand all of the nuances and complexities of the brain's response to meditation.
And speaking of different meditation techniques, there's research out there that suggests that not all meditation practices are created equal.
Right.
One study, published in Frontiers in Psychology, compared different types of Preksha dhyana meditation,
Okay.
which is a practice that involves focusing on sound or color, or even a combination of both.
I'm curious, did one technique stand out?
Yeah, the results were actually really interesting. They found that the combined technique using both sound and color focus showed the most significant improvement in measures of things like short-term memory, attention, and even mood.
Wow, fascinating. It seems like incorporating multiple sensory focuses in meditation could actually lead to a more potent and well-rounded experience, at least for some individuals.
Yeah, and I think this also opens up the possibility of tailoring meditation practices to individual needs and preferences.
Absolutely. It really does highlight how dynamic meditation is and its potential to be adapted to different goals and contexts.
So what about those people who've been meditating for years? Do their brains actually reveal any clues about the long-term effects of these practices?
I was just thinking about that. Our next study takes us straight into the brains of some seasoned meditation practitioners. This one, published in Brain Sciences, actually investigated brain connectivity patterns during two different types of meditation-focused attention, where you're concentrating on a single object or sensation,
Yeah.
and open monitoring, where you're just kind of observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment.
That's a great comparison. These are like two fundamentally different approaches to meditation. So what did they find?
Prepare to be amazed. The researchers could actually predict a person's level of meditation expertise just by looking at their brain connectivity patterns during these practices.
Wow, that's incredible. It kind of implies that long-term meditation practice might actually rewire the brain, creating distinct neural signatures of expertise.
Exactly. It's like their brains have been sculpted by years of dedicated practice, creating more efficient and harmonious communication pathways.
That's fascinating.
It is.
Welcome back to Trending Tidbits. It's pretty amazing to think that something as simple as sitting quietly and paying attention to our breath can have such a profound impact on our brains and our bodies.
It really is remarkable. And, as we delve deeper into the science of meditation, we're really only just beginning to uncover its full potential.
So before we wrap things up, I wanted to touch on something that I think is super relevant to our modern lives. We're bombarded with distractions constantly.
Oh, tell me about it. Social media, emails, news alerts. It never ends.
It really doesn't. It feels like our minds are constantly being pulled in a million different directions.
Yeah.
And I think that's where meditation comes in. It's like a mental gym for our attention muscles,
I love that.
helping us to strengthen our focus and resist all those tempting distractions.
It's a great analogy. Meditation really is a powerful tool for cultivating a sense of presence, of being fully engaged in the here and now, rather than getting swept away by that constant stream of distractions.
It's like hitting the pause button on autopilot and actually
Yeah.
choosing where we want to direct our attention.
Exactly. And that ability to be present, to truly focus on what matters, is essential for everything from our work to our relationships to our overall well-being.
When I think about it, so many of the challenges that we face in modern life, things like stress and anxiety, even burnout,
Yeah.
I think they all stem from this feeling of being constantly scattered and overwhelmed.
It's true. When we're constantly distracted, we really miss out on the richness of life.
Yeah.
Meditation helps us reconnect with ourselves and the world around us, allowing us to experience things more deeply and really appreciate the beauty in every moment.
So meditation isn't just about relaxation or stress reduction then.
Right.
It's about reclaiming our attention and directing it intentionally,
Right.
which ultimately empowers us to live more fulfilling lives.
Beautifully said. It's about taking back control of our minds, rather than being controlled by that endless stream of distractions.
So from your perspective as an expert, what are some of the most exciting frontiers in meditation research?
Mm.
What are those big questions that scientists are still trying to unravel?
Ooh, there are so many exciting avenues of research. One area that I find particularly fascinating is the investigation of how meditation affects different brain networks.
Okay.
We're only just starting to understand how these practices influence that really intricate web of connections between different brain regions.
So it's not just about isolated brain regions, but how those regions work together as a team.
Exactly. The brain is a complex, interconnected system, and meditation seems to influence the way that those different parts communicate and collaborate.
It's like optimizing the brain's communication network,
Yeah.
leading to smoother, more efficient information processing.
Absolutely. Another exciting area of research is the investigation of personalized meditation approaches. As we've discussed, different meditation techniques engage the brain in different ways, and there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right, so it's about finding the practices that resonate with our individual needs and goals.
Exactly. As we gather more data on how different techniques affect the brain, we can develop more personalized recommendations and potentially even tailor meditation programs to specific cognitive profiles or challenges.
It's like precision medicine for the mind.
I like that. That's a great way to put it.
The future of meditation research sounds incredibly promising.
It is. It truly is. It's a privilege to witness the convergence of ancient wisdom and modern science, and I have no doubt that these practices will continue to transform lives in really profound ways.
Well, that wraps up our trending tidbits on meditation and the brain. We've explored some really fascinating research today, and I hope you're leaving with a sense of awe at the power of your own mind.
It is powerful. And remember, even just a few minutes of mindfulness each day can make a world of difference. It's about cultivating that sense of presence, of being fully engaged in the moment, and appreciating the beauty in every breath.
Beautifully said. Keep exploring, keep meditating, and until next time, stay curious. Welcome back to Trending Tidbits. It is amazing to think that something as simple as sitting quietly and paying attention to our breath can have such profound impact on our brains and bodies.
It really is remarkable. And as we kind of delve deeper into the science of meditation, we're really only just beginning to uncover its full potential.
Before we wrap up, I wanted to touch on something that I think is super relevant to our modern lives.
Yeah.
We're bombarded with distractions constantly.
Oh, absolutely. Social media, emails, news alerts, you name it.
It's like our minds are being pulled in a million different directions.
True.
And this is where I think meditation comes in. It's almost like a mental gym for our attention muscles,
I love that analogy.
helping us strengthen our focus and resist those tempting distractions.
Yeah, meditation really is a powerful tool for cultivating that sense of presence,
Yeah.
Being fully engaged in the here and now rather than getting swept away by that constant stream of distractions.
Right. It's like hitting the pause button on autopilot and actually choosing where we want to direct our attention.
Exactly. And, that ability to be present, to truly focus on what matters is essential for everything from our work to our relationships and even just our overall well-being.
And, when I think about it, so many of the challenges that we face in modern life, like stress, anxiety, burnout,
Yeah.
a lot of it stems from this feeling of being constantly scattered and overwhelmed.
It's true. You're right. When we're constantly distracted, we really miss out on the richness of life.
Yeah.
Meditation can help us reconnect with ourselves and with the world around us, allowing us to experience things more deeply and really appreciate the beauty in every moment.
So it's not just about relaxation or stress reduction.
No, it's not.
It's about reclaiming our attention and really directing it intentionally.
Yeah.
Which ultimately empowers us to live more fulfilling lives.
Beautifully said. It's about taking back control of our minds rather than being controlled by that endless stream of distractions that are all around us.
Now, from your perspective as an expert, what are some of the most exciting frontiers in meditation research? What are those big questions that scientists are still trying to unravel?
Oh, there are so many exciting avenues of research. I think one area that I find particularly fascinating is the investigation of how meditation affects different brain networks.
Okay.
We're really only just starting to understand how these practices influence that intricate web of connections between all the different brain regions.
So it's not just about isolated brain regions, but how those regions work together as a team.
Exactly. The brain is this complex, interconnected system, and meditation seems to influence the way that those different parts communicate and collaborate with each other.
It's almost like we're optimizing the brain's communication network, leading to smoother, more efficient information processing.
I like that. Another exciting area of research is the investigation of personalized meditation approaches. As we've talked about, different meditation techniques engage the brain in different ways, and there's really no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right. It's about finding those practices that resonate with our individual needs and goals.
Exactly. And as we gather more data on how these different techniques affect the brain, we can develop more personalized recommendations. And we can potentially even tailor meditation programs to specific cognitive profiles or specific challenges that people might be facing.
That's incredible. It's like precision medicine for the mind.
It is. It really is. The future of meditation research is incredibly promising.
It really is. Well, that about wraps up our trending tidbits on meditation and the brain. I hope you're leaving with a sense of awe at the power of your own mind.
It is powerful. And remember, even just a few minutes of mindfulness each day can make a world of difference. So keep exploring, keep meditating, and until next time, stay curious.
Thanks for listening, everyone.